From Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring, this is ABC Big 2 News at 10.
Developing now at 10, the search for an escaped inmate convicted of murder and a missing correctional officer. Time is ticking tonight and fears are mounting. The officer who accompanied the murder suspect to court is in grave danger. Good evening, I'm Rob Tuke. It's a disturbing escape, one that's left investigators with so many questions. Where did they both go, and did the officer help the murder suspect escape? ABC's Kayla Smith leads us off tonight with this manhunt.
Totally shocked. I mean, just completely shocked. Like, how is it even possible?
Austin Williams' mother, Connie Ridgway, was murdered in 2015. He says the Lauderdale County District Attorney called him personally to let him know the alleged killer escaped.
We have an inmate who has apparently escaped our detention center, along with a missing corrections deputy.
Williams has a message for White.
Give yourself up as soon as you can. There's still hope. There's still a chance.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff is laying out a timeline of events.
Did she assist him in escaping? That's obviously a possibility. Was she kidnapped en route to the courthouse and, taken against her will? That's obviously another angle we're looking at.
Friday morning, Assistant Director of Corrections Vicki White instructed a corrections deputy to prepare inmate Casey White for a mental health evaluation at the county courthouse. Vicki White told the booking officer she would leave Casey White with the deputies at the courthouse before heading to a doctor's appointment. The pair left the detention center at 9:41 a.m.
She was along, which was a strict violation of policy. Our policy is any inmate under those charges are to have two sworn deputies escort them.
Vicki White never arrived at her appointment, and Casey White did not have an evaluation scheduled at the courthouse. Florence police officers spotted Vicki White's patrol vehicle in the parking lot of a local shopping center as early as 11:30 that morning. The Vicki was not determined to be missing until closer to 3:30 on Friday, when a booking officer told administration that she had been unreachable by phone.
I do think this, knowing the inmate, I think she's in danger, whatever the circumstances. He was in jail for capital murder, and, he has nothing to lose.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office is working with U.S. Marshals, the FBI, and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency on the investigation.
And now, your local weather authority forecast.
Several tornadoes blew through parts of Kansas, leaving a path of destruction overnight. Powerful twisters touched down in Sedgwick County late Friday night, causing severe damage to hundreds of homes and buildings. Trees and power lines were also knocked down, leaving thousands without power. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff with new and alarming video tonight.
A devastating tornado ripped through southeast Wichita and Andover, Kansas Friday night.
Oh my God.
Dozens of homes and buildings damaged, but remarkably, officials report only 4 people were injured.
We have no reports of fatalities. I continue to be happy to report that we have no rescues outstanding. So we have no one that we know of that is trapped in a building right now that's waiting for us to rescue them.
This man catching a glimpse of the tornado from his car.
My house is in that direction too. I hope it's there when we get there.
Both his and his neighbor's homes suffered extensive damage.
That's my neighbor's house back there. Thank God he wasn't home. His house is just gone.
These friends took shelter in a basement.
It was rumbling. The door opened, and I was trying to figure out why there was so much wind. I looked up, and some of the flooring for the upstairs was ripped up, and I could only see just debris flying in the distance. I'm just glad to be alive.
They watched from below as part of the roof was torn off.
As soon as we heard, the rest of the house being taken apart, and then we saw that part fly, it was just crazy being able to see outside, see all this stuff in the tornado.
Residents are now trying to salvage what they can. Authorities are asking everyone to stay away from the areas impacted.
A community like this, everyone wants to help. We're not ready to accept that yet.
Further south, parts of Oklahoma saw lightning, strong winds, and hail overnight.
It could just be a rain shaft.
This storm chaser in Oklahoma City not sure what to make of this.
There's nothing really to make out like a funnel or anything like that.
Phil Lipoff, ABC News, New York.
Really?
Closer to home, taking a live look tonight from our Midland Tower cam. The basin is about to see a change in weather, and here to tell us more about this forecast, ABC Big 2's meteorologist Ryan DePhillips.
And now your forecast first on ABC Big 2 News.
That's right, Rob. We have to watch out for some severe storms for tomorrow, but generally clear skies and very warm conditions for today. We did notice that we had a cold front move through, bring some clouds off to our south and east with storms popping up just to our south and east, but it's staying clear from the basin. That's likely to change as we head into tomorrow. Overnight, more clouds will be on the increase. Low temperature here in the Tall City, right around 60 degrees. Those winds from the east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour, bringing in more humidity and eventually bringing in more rainfall. We could be seeing as much as an inch of rainfall locally in parts of the basin for tomorrow near the Midland and Odessa area. And I'll be tracking the potential for strong to severe storms. Back to you, Rob.
And thank you, Ryan. We'll make sure to keep an eye out for that. Now, across Texas, family, friends, and fellow servicemen are saying one final goodbye to a National Guard soldier who died trying to save migrants. Funeral services were held in Arlington today for Bishop Evans. He was a member of the Texas National Guard who lost his life rescuing two migrants who ran into trouble while swimming across the Rio Grande. Texas military officials say Evans was, quote, trying to selflessly help migrants. The local sheriff said the 22-year-old jumped into the river without his jacket or radio. Now, the two migrants survived, and authorities say they are suspected of being drug smugglers. Now to that influx of immigration on the border. Even though a judge has temporarily blocked Title 42 from being lifted, the Biden administration is still making preparations for when the policy comes to an end. Republican lawmakers and some Democrats on Capitol Hill are calling for a change in course, either through legislation or through more funding to help Border Patrol agents. ABC's Brian Yanis has a closer look from Eagle Pass, Texas.
Faces of Americans across this country dying because of fentanyl pouring into our country.
After 2 days of contentious hearings on Capitol Hill, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas made it clear that his department is expecting to see an increase in border crossings once Title 42 is lifted next month.
We will address this challenge successfully.
On Friday, President Biden spoke with Mexico's president about the situation at the border, including the migration response. This week, a federal judge in Louisiana temporarily blocked the Biden administration from ending the public health order and has set a hearing for the case for May 13th, 10 days before it was set to expire. The White House will comply with the order.
When Title 42 is lifted, it'll be 500,000 people in 5 weeks. I don't know, and they'll have no legal status, by the way. Biggest human trafficking event of our lifetime. What are we going to do with these people?
The issue has struck a divide among congressional Democrats. Some believe the administration does not have an adequate plan in place to deal with the surge, while others argue Title 42 should have never been used in the first place.
And while skies are mostly clear today, we have to watch out for storms as we head into tomorrow. An enhanced risk of severe weather in the northern half of the basin as skies overnight will begin to become more cloudy. And by tomorrow afternoon, strong to severe thunderstorms. I'll be tracking the change in those temperatures ahead.
And what would you do if you found out someone was watching you as you slept? The disturbing details of one family's terrifying encounter. Next. Plus, a shocking admission from the pilot of a failed plane stunt. The wild plane swap that ended in a crash that the FAA said specifically not to do. And we have a new Mr. Irrelevant. Take a look at perhaps the strangest tradition in the NFL draft. We'll be right back.
Let's go. It's Disney night on American Idol. The top 10 sing your favorite Disney song, plus a special performance of We Don't Talk About Bruno. American Idol, live coast to coast Sunday on ABC.
We're your local weather authority. We warn you first. Our team is working around the clock to keep you and your family safe. What you need to know on ABC Big 2 News.
We're checking out. We'll miss you. How was your stay?
We travel all over, and this hotel is our favorite. We love the free breakfast buffet in the mornings and the omelet station.
My favorite thing is the super fast Wi-Fi in the room. I can get my work done and plug my PS4 into that huge 50-inch TV and game all night.
This is the best sleep I've ever had on the most comfortable bed. And I love the Starbucks coffee and the Bath & Body Works soaps in the room.
We'll see you again soon.
The MCM Grande Hotel and Fun Dome, Odessa.
Don't miss the Flecha Azul Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 14th, downtown Odessa. Presented by Ron Hoover RV and Marine, along with Downtown Odessa Inc., KMID Big 2, and West Texas Radio. Tickets are on sale now at WTXEvents.com. Enjoy amazing tacos, food trucks, Flecha Azul Premium Tequila, contest, and a concert from the Damn Torpedoes, a tribute to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Don't come around here.
The Flecha Azul Tacos and Tequila Festival. Go to WTXEvents.com.
Allison 10-speed transmission. Premium features available on GMC Sierra Heavy Duty. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on Sierra Heavy Duty models. Visit your Permian Basin GMC dealer.
It's the Best of the West weekend, presented by these fine sponsors. This amazing 3-day event will benefit several West Texas nonprofit organizations. The fun kicks off May 7th with a hot dog run and pet parade, benefiting Midland Humane Coalition. Then on Saturday night, Bush Tennis Center welcomes Texas country music star Pat Green in concert. The weekend concludes on Monday morning with the Eagles and Aces First Responders Golf Tournament at the Hogan Park Golf Course.
Watch Samantha Smarechniak, Matt Fonts, and Ryan D. Phillips at 11:30. And now, your local weather authority forecast.
It was a warm and sunny day across the basin, but we do notice that we're going to have more clouds on the increase and strong winds and eventually some storms right now. Very calm conditions across the basin. A live look, very calm weather conditions, light winds and fairly dry conditions, but more humidity, more clouds, and the potential for severe storms as we head into tomorrow. We had some storms pop up just off to our south and east over the past few hours. We did notice those reds and oranges indicated locally heavy rainfall and some strong winds associated with some of those storms, but way off to our south and east of our viewing area, as we do notice that we hardly had any clouds across the region. That's likely to change as we head into tonight. Again, a very warm day today, high temperature 86 degrees, average high is 84 degrees, so pretty close to average for this time of year. Low temperature right around 59 degrees. So again, flirting with average, but a little bit above normal for this time of year. Overnight temperatures dropping even a bit warmer compared to what we saw this morning. Low temperature right around 60 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, humid conditions, and those winds from the east-southeast picking up later in the overnight, bringing in more humidity. And as we head into tomorrow, we do notice that those temperatures, again, rising from the 50s and 60s into the 80s and lower 90s, but right around 2 or 3 o'clock, they're not going to rise too much more because of more clouds on the increase and the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. The main threat will be hail damage, destructive hail damage, as much as $1 to $1/2 size hail, wind damage, and even a small chance of a tornado. We are your local weather authority. We will let you know if any storms do become severe. And speaking of the chances of severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center issued an enhanced risk, including Midland and Odessa, the northern half of the basin, really anywhere east of the Pecos River, onward. Farther to the east, we are likely to see some storms and even the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. Again, more clouds in the increase as we head into tomorrow. Storms firing off right around 3, 4 o'clock, lasting until dinner time. Moving off to the east, we do notice that those reds indicate really heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and small hail. Some of these storms may be capable of producing a tornado. Again, we are your local weather authority. We will let you know how strong those storms do become. And we do notice that, again, the main threat will also be flash flooding. So avoid those flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown, and drive slowly in some of those puddles because we don't want your car ending up looking like that, stranded in those flooded roadways. Again, we want you to make sure that you're taking these conditions very seriously as we head into tomorrow. Those winds, again, very strong from the south and the east, sustained around 30 to 40 miles per hour, at times gusting over 60 miles per hour. That's over severe limits. Again, not limiting those temperatures too much. By 2 or 3 o'clock, temperatures reaching the low to mid 80s and then dropping later in the day because of those clouds and the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. Overnight lows dipping into the 50s and 60s. Still humid conditions overnight tonight and into tomorrow night, but drying out as we head into Monday. Temperatures reaching the low to mid 90s. And then once again, more clouds and the increase as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. Another chance of storms before drying out with mostly sunny skies in Cinco de Mayo.
Well, thank you, Ryan. All important information, and like Ryan said, we'll make sure to keep you guys updated at home.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, caught on camera tonight, a man watches a family sleep after breaking into their home. The family woke up only to find the deeply disturbing footage recorded overnight, the suspect never making a sound. He even returned to the home after leaving, telling the family to lock their doors. ABC's Haley Winslow met with the family, who says they're not going to sleep easy in a long time.
Very scared. It's very unnerving to find out that somebody had been in your room watching you sleep.
It's dark, but this is video surveillance of the burglar watching Kevin and Rachel Sandoval sleep. The bad guy had entered the San Bernardino family's apartment through their son's window. It's cracked to cool medical equipment that helps the micro-preemie breathe.
I never thought that something like this could happen to my family.
On camera, with the couple sleeping right behind him, he fishes through their dresser, steals her wedding ring and other expensive jewelry, and $4,000 cash for her landlord the following day. On more surveillance in the living room, the brazen thief walks past the toddler on a ventilator, sleeping right next to his night nurse, and no one heard a peep. On a third camera, he unlocks the front door and lets himself out, then comes back 20 seconds later, but this time the nurse wakes up.
Okay, thanks. You hear her kind of get up closer to the door, and she's like, what? Like confused, and he tells her, I guess, it's not safe, you should lock your doors.
The nurse tells the Sandovals in the morning, and they check the cameras.
I feel like I get the creepy calls, yes. Like, to see my wife, the look on her face when I told her that guy was in our room, the look on her face.
You know, we got baby gates and baby locks on like all doors, all handles. Everybody that comes to our house is like, how do I open the door? How do I get out of this gate? Like, how do you open this? You know, and he was just smooth way going through. Like, it makes me feel like he's done this multiple times, like he's not an amateur, you know?
They've now beefed up security even more with window and door alarms and a dog. But it's going to take a while to sleep soundly again.
It's scary. You know, like I said, you wouldn't think anything like this would happen to you, but when it does, it's very hard to sleep at night.
And new at 10 tonight, an apology after a stunt gone wrong. Last weekend, we first told you about the two daredevils who wanted to jump out of two planes and land in the opposite person's plane midair. Well, that live stream plane swap ended in a crash, and one of the pilots is in a lot of trouble. He's speaking out, saying he has a lot of regret. Here's ABC's Phil Lipoff again tonight with more.
The pilot behind the stunt gone wrong,
Blue plane is out of control.
Speaking out, saying it was entirely my responsibility to operate within the regulatory framework to ensure a successful outcome. Luke Akins, the project lead and chief pilot, releasing a statement nearly 1 week after that swap flop. Akins and his cousin Andy Farrington were attempting to swap planes for the Hulu livestream event Sunday when the stunt went wrong.
Timing.
One of the planes spinning out of control. Farrington forced to pull his emergency chute.
How you doing, Andy? You okay?
I'm good. It just went, and instead of stopping in that 90-degree dive, it just kept going.
In the aftermath, the FAA saying it had denied the request for a special exemption needed to perform the stunt. Now, Akins admitting he did receive the email notification that his FAA request was denied, and I made the personal decision to go forward with the plane swap. I regret not sharing this information with my team and those who supported me.
The theme of this entire event behind the scenes has been safety. That's right.
Red Bull, who has a long working relationship with Akins, reacting to his statement, saying he has been entirely upfront and honest about his responsibility in this matter. We look forward to his continued friendship.
And now your ABC Big 2 Sports.
Well, Mr. Irrelevant. It's an interesting name depending on how you look at it. Mr. Irrelevant is the name given each year to the last pick of the NFL draft since 1976.
And we've saved the best till last. So we're going to put it all on red, 49er red. There you go. That's who my dad played for, right? That's all right. So the 47th Mr. Irrelevant 2022, with the 262nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Brock Purdy, a quarterback from Iowa State. Go Niners!
The 49ers closed out this year's draft selecting quarterback Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant this afternoon in Las Vegas. Purdy goes off the board as pick number 262 in this year's draft. He is the first Mr. Irrelevant quarterback since Chad Kelly went to Denver in 2017. Now, the Iowa State senior started 46 games over 4 seasons with the Cyclones. And getting married in Vegas sounds a lot of fun, but how about a wedding? At the NFL draft in Vegas, I don't know how many couples are out there are willing to do something like this. I bet they, of course, really do love each other. In any event, congrats to the new married couple, and fantastic venue. Why not? The CDC and health experts are racing to find out the cause of a massive hepatitis outbreak. What parents need to know next.
We know these roads and drive them too. From the big trucks passing through on the interstates to the oilfield traffic in the Permian Basin. At Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Injury Lawyers, we handle big crashes, especially those involving big trucks. We know that it's important to investigate immediately before critical evidence disappears or witnesses' memories fade. For catastrophic injury or wrongful death, call the people you know. Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Injury Lawyers.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and it's time to add the perfect accessories to your new Chevy. Make it bolder. Make it work harder. Make it your own. Find new possibilities. Find new roads. Very well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy pickup trucks. Plus, now during Truck Month, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward the eligible purchase of a new Chevy truck with accessories. See your Permian Basin Chevy dealers.
What makes best reviews the best reviews?
Ooh, pretty colors.
They have an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations.
Oh, no, Count Bristol. We settle this dispute through dance.
To give honest, reliable recommendations on just about any product you can imagine. So you can be confident that whatever you're buying is right for you.
Faster, Count Bristol, faster!
Whatever you're into. For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
With employee pricing at Denver Mattress, you pay what we pay. Backed by popular demand, our employee discount is available to everyone for a limited time. Get 15% off any single Denver Mattress brand product when you spend $9.99 or more. And with our 365-night better sleep guarantee, you'll rest easy knowing you're getting the right mattress. Plus 5 years no interest and free shipping. You pay what we pay with Denver Mattress employee pricing. Available now for everyone.
Get ready for your day with meteorologist Ryan DePhillips.
The actress Joanna Barnes has died after a lengthy illness. Barnes was a longtime star of stage and screen. She was best known for her roles in the 1961 Hollywood classic The Parent Trap and in its remake in 1998. The actress was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for playing Gloria Upson in the 1958 film Auntie Mame. Barnes died at her home Friday in Sea Ranch, California. And Naomi Judd, who was part of the Grammy-winning duo The Judds, has died too. The singer was born in Kentucky and was the mother of Winona and Ashley Judd. Her daughters announced their mother's death today. In a statement, the two wrote, quote, "We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness." The mother-daughter performers had 14 #1 songs in a career that spanned nearly 3 decades. They stopped performing 31 years ago after doctors diagnosed Naomi with hepatitis. Naomi and Winona Judd had been scheduled to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame tomorrow. Naomi Judd was 76 years old. Now to the World Health officials weighing in on a severe illness affecting kids in the U.S. Doctors are trying to figure out what's causing it. ABC's Elwin Lopez is at the CDC in Atlanta tonight with this medical report.
An urgent new warning about mysterious and deadly outbreaks of severe cases of hepatitis hitting countries around the world, now under investigation for the death of a child in Wisconsin. This marks the first reported U.S. death linked to the global outbreak.
Hepatitis is the medical term for inflammation of the liver. It's not uncommon in children, but severe hepatitis is unusual.
And now there are more than 20 suspected cases reported across 6 states, most of them under the age of 10. At least 4 of the children in the U.S. needed a liver transplant. In Alabama, Dr. Elena Gutierrez has been treating 9 pediatric patients suffering severe hepatitis. 3 of them had acute liver failure.
It is definitely rare, and it's not the norm.
And while the cause is still unknown, the World Health Organization is now looking into whether there is any connection to adenovirus or COVID-19.
It could be a virus that's driving it, plus an exaggerated response from these patients to try to combat these virus.
In Illinois, 8-year-old Riley spent a night in the hospital after her blood work suggested liver inflammation.
She was very tired. All she wanted to do was lay down. She wasn't talking. And then definitely the not wanting to eat.
Her mother, Jillian, rushing her to the ER, where doctors diagnosed her daughter with an adenovirus-related hepatitis.
That's just scary. These are young, otherwise healthy kids.
And that was Elwin Lopez reporting. Health experts say parents should not be alarmed. They say parents should just keep an eye out for alarming symptoms like nausea, fatigue, and yellowing of the skin or eyes. And still ahead as stocks fall, fears of a recession rise. Experts share some tips to protect your money.
ABC Big 2 Sports, brought to you by Glasheen Vaez and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
The perfect getaway. Okay, thank you. Stay connected anywhere.
It's so pretty. Do you like it? It's a new style. It's an oasis.
It's delicious.
It's elegant. It's relaxing.
The MCM Elegante Hotel and Spa.
You want to feel important, to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
We know. We felt that way too.
And that's why we joined the Army National Guard. Take on your legacy.
Visit nationalguard.com to find out more.
The great experiences you have in here and even out here all started here. Because the best customer experience always leaves a great impression. GMC, awarded #1 in sales satisfaction by J.D. Power. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on these GMC models. Visit your Permian Basin GMC dealer.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and it's time to add the perfect accessories to your new Chevy. Make it bolder. Make it work harder. Make it your own. Find new possibilities. Find new roads. Very well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy pickup trucks. Plus, now during Truck Month, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward the eligible purchase of a new Chevy truck with accessories. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
After a long day, you just want to relax, and I understand that. In Bob Mills Sleep Spa with any selected queen mattress, I'm giving you the Heads Up Mood Base free. So relax. It's free from Bob Mills Sleep Spa.
U.S. stocks dropped sharply on Friday with 3 major indexes registering over 2.7% decline. Analysts held that the sharp losses are attributed to several factors, including the disappointing financial reports from tech giants like Amazon.com, as well as a warning on rising costs from Apple Inc., the Federal Reserve's monetary tightening, the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic, and the Ukraine-Russia war. But as stocks fall, economic fears rise, along with inflation. It raises the question, is America headed towards a recession? ABC's Deidre Bolton is sharing some money moves you can make tonight to be prepared.
Many Americans wondering what to do with their money.
While the average 401k retirement account lost about $6,000 in April alone.
Consider how your money is allocated. If you want to lessen your exposure to stocks, put some money into alternative funds, in real estate, or an art fund, or natural resource funds that invest in water or lumber. If possible, pay off credit card debt.
Pay down debt, especially when the cost of debt is likely to go higher from here.
I paid $300 a month just on one card to try and stay ahead of it. So now I actually feel like I've made a huge bite into it and I can manage the rest.
The Fed is likely to raise rates next week, which makes all borrowing more expensive. But there is a silver lining for savers. With that in mind, consider putting money into a high-yield savings account. Be willing to look beyond the larger, well-known banks. Many smaller institutions, including online banks and apps, feature good rates and low deposit requirements. Another way to enhance your savings? I-bonds, being offered through the Department of Treasury. You can buy them easily online, and you are guaranteed a 7.1% interest rate for 6 months, 9.6% for the months that follow, but act fast. This is the last day to buy them. An area where Americans could feel an additional crunch in the weeks ahead? Fuel prices, which means more expensive travel and groceries.
Gasoline prices are close to record levels. Diesel prices will likely be at record levels for a good portion of the summer.
Diesel prices affect what trucking companies charge to deliver groceries. To minimize the effect in your household, stock up on grocery items now. Consider freezing milk and meat when you find a deal.
And that was Deidre Bolton reporting. Coming up after the break, Ryan will have one last look at the forecast. Stay with us.
You've had no choice.
No choice. No choice. If you've been looking for real news, you've had no choice until now. News Nation is new. We're different.
We're not taking sides or leaning into political agendas. If you're looking for the news without the noise,
You have the freedom to choose.
Come back to something different.
Come back to balance. Come back to fearless reporting. Come back to the news. News Nation. News for all America.
That's a pretty tight spot.
Watch this.
Your Buick Park said so. That's so you.
Of course you know where we're going. That's so you.
Kinda got a sixth sense.
And a head-up display.
they're here.
You brought all these players in your Buick?
Yep.
So you.
It is.
At the heart of every Buick SUV is you. Pay no interest on Buick SUV models.
Visit your Permian Basin Buick dealer.
Reclaim your rhythm at the Permian Basin Go Red for Women Luncheon. Now more than ever, we must all commit to a healthy lifestyle. On Wednesday, May 4th, you'll learn how you can take charge of your heart health and empower others to do the same. Join the American Heart Association as we take a stand against the #1 killer of women, heart disease. Go to PermianBasinGoRed.heart.org for more.
You have cancer. Sure wasn't expecting that. Not with these two. But my team at Texas Oncology has been right there for me. They said my family is a huge part of my treatment plan. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right here is where I want to be. I'll see you in the morning.
Despite it being a mostly clear day today, we have to watch out for more clouds and the increase in the potential for strong to severe storms. The Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk in those orange colors, including the northern basin, of strong to severe thunderstorms producing large hail, damaging winds, and even a low threat of tornadoes. Those storms firing off right around 2, 3 o'clock, and I think it'll be most prevalent right around dinner time in the afternoon, 6 o'clock. So that's something that we got to watch out for as we head into tomorrow. Again, storms, but temperatures warming up in the 90s and 80s as we head into later in the week with mostly dry conditions. But then as we head into Wednesday, another round of storms, strong storms potentially before drying out and warming up again. So that's been a really big trend. Storms and then drying out and then another round of storms and then drying out, Rob.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. All of this on our radar tonight for you at home. Make sure to stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.